In our lives we often come across tales, rumors and myths which certainly don't sound possible, but what if few years later they actually turn out to be true? Number 1. Killer Lake Nyos. Lake Nyos is a lake in northern region of Cameroon, situated close to an inactive volcano. The popular myth in the 20th century was that the lake was affected by an evil spirit of a monster who would kill anyone who tried to come close to the lake. This myth attracted curiosity of a lot of people who eventually settled near the lake, until one day in 1986, when around 1,400 people were found dead. It turns out that the lake was very deep and carbonated, and at that unfortunate night a huge load of CO2 was released which led to death of so many people. Number 2. The Skeleton Lake. It seems like lakes are a central part of popular myths. The Skeleton Lake is a myth which originates in the region of Uttarakhand, India. Raja Jastaval, the king of Kanauj, was traveling with his group of dancers, servants, and was accompanied by his wife. As they were traveling, they were approached by a hailstorm with very strong winds. The storm was so powerful that it killed all the people, none survived. In 2004, during an expedition, a group of mountaineers found an actual lake in the Himalayan region with skulls and bones of an estimated number of more than 200 people. Upon further investigation, it was found the myth was actually true. Number 3. The US germ warfare. In early 1960s, the popular urban legend was that the government of America is secretly carrying out germ warfare tests on the citizens of US. Although popular, the rumors were widely denied, until the Senate hearings of 1970s, where the US military, upon being questioned, actually admitted that such germ warfare tests had actually taken place. New York subway was one of the target locations. Number 4. The Green Man. The interesting myth of the Green Man, who became popular urban legend of western Pennsylvania, originates from the state route number 351. According to the myth, people passing through this route would often claim to see an image of a person who would seem to be faceless and looked green. The unknown person was termed Green Man by travelers who would often go on search for the Green Man on the road at nights. Later it turned out that Green Man was an actual person named Raymond Robinson, who became victim of an electrical accident as a child, which left him disfigured and gave the green tinge to his body. He would often go out on night walks because he didn't want others to panic upon seeing him. He would spend most of the time inside his home. Number 5. The Creature with Two Heads. This unusual tale originates in parts of Australia, where people reported sighting of a creature that walked on two legs and had supposedly two heads on its body, often located far apart. This is very old myth, but does that strike something? What kind of creature will you imagine if given such description? How about a kangaroo's? Funny as it may sound, but before we knew that kangaroos kept their babies in pouch, or even before we were clear about kangaroos' existence, they were classified as cryptid, meaning an animal whose existence is controversial or unclear, placing kangaroos in our list. Number 6. Abduction of Japanese citizens. This popular urban legend is an old one. In early 1980s, young Japanese citizens suddenly started randomly disappearing with no trace to be found. It was speculated that these mysterious abductions were carried out by North Korean outfits, but such claims were only labeled as conspiracy theory. It was only in 2002, when the North Korean ruler Kim Jong-il admitted North Korea's involvement in abduction of at least 13 Japanese citizens, this myth turned out to be true. Number 7. Ball lighting. For years people around the world have reported sighting of spherical luminous object floating in air for few seconds to up to a few minutes, sometimes as small as Peter, sometimes an object of diameter of few feet. According to the witnesses, they would eventually explode, leaving behind a funny smell. It was termed as hoax or illusion for a long time. It was only in 1960s when something similar could be created in lab conditions. Although scientists finally recognized the phenomenon, we still do not have any valid explanation for their origin. Would you still consider it as a myth? Number 8. The Lost River. Yet another myth which originates from India. Saraswati River was often thought to be a mythological river which found place in numerous ancient Vedic and religious texts. Although it was widely mentioned in the literature of Vedic era, nobody could actually prove its existence or explain the reason for its mention in ancient texts. Until 19th century nobody had an idea about where this river was. In 19th century during a major land survey, an entire dry river valley was discovered not very far from the location mentioned in ancient texts, which would be current-day India-Pakistan border. It was thought to be severely affected by climate change in 6th century which resulted in its desertification. Number 9. Little Cavemen. For centuries the popular myth in Indonesia revolved around certain caves by the mountains which were thought to be inhabited by mystical little cave people that lived there. The myth eventually faded until 2003 when such hobbit-like little creatures were found on an island in Indonesia. The research is still going on about possibility of these small human-like individuals belonging to a species other than that of modern humans. Number 10. Cryptid animals. We already mentioned kangaroos. For a long time Greek used to believe gorillas were intelligent species which had buildings and society of their own and an advanced civilization. For years donkeys, zebras, whales, squids and a lot of different animals were thought to be cryptids and of disputed origin. Enjoyed this video? Like and share it. Want more coming? Subscribe us.